Welcome to the Minotaur's Maze. Now, this is a very special episode for me because it's the first solo episode of the Minotaur's Maze podcast. So far, I've been interviewing other people, and it started off with me just interviewing other people. Recently, I've started to engage in more conversation-like podcasts rather than me just asking questions and waiting for answers. And the next stage of development for myself is to start doing more of these individual solo episodes. So this is the first one, and hopefully there's going to be more of these to come in the future. And obviously there's going to be a lot more interview style podcast with a lot more guests coming, especially in the year of 2022. So to kick off this first one, I thought I'd expand a little bit more on the Minotaur maze philosophy. Obviously I've spoken about it before, both on my YouTube channel and mentioned it here and there in the podcast, but I haven't really done an episode explaining what the whole thing really is about, and it's something that I'm certain will help you and will help anyone that adopts the philosophy, because the whole theme is based on the Greek myth Theseus and the Minotaur. I've mentioned this many times, but what many people still don't realize, because they still ask me what is this all about, is that Greek myth is in fact a metaphor. It's symbolic of your life and your mind and how you're going about living your life. So just to start off, it's probably a good idea to once again recap what the story is all about. I mean, this is a story that I came across in primary school. Like, we learnt about it in primary school and it stuck with me ever since. You know, I remember at the time drawing the Minotaur, and it's just one of those things that's left a lasting impression ever since I first came across it. And the story is basically about the Minotaur, which is a half man, half bull beast, and this monster resided in an intricate maze, an intricate labyrinth, where the owner, the king of the Minotaur and of the land where the Minotaur was, required 7 boys and 7 girls to be sacrificed from the king of a following land. So every year or every 10 years, 7 boys and 7 girls would be shipped over to the Minotaur, who would then devour these boys and girls. However, one day Theseus, who was the son of the king, he decides that no, enough is enough. He wants to do something about this grave injustice. But because he's a prince, because he's the son of the king himself says, no, you don't need to go, don't do it, you're gonna die, it's not gonna be worth it, you're gonna basically sacrifice your own life for a cause that is lost. But Theseus was having none of it. He was so passionate about this cause, he decided to take it upon himself to go and do something about the Minotaur. So off he went, but before he went into the maze, he was approached by Princess Ariadne, and she provided him with a piece of string and a sword to fight the Minotaur, and a piece of string for him to find his way out of the maze, because the other danger was of course, you know, getting lost in the maze, in the labyrinth itself. So in went Theseus. He went into the maze, he went into the labyrinth, he found the Minotaur, a battle ensued, and after a long, hard fight, Theseus was victorious. He beat the Minotaur with his sword, and then he used the string to find his way out of the maze. And once he came out, he then returned home victorious, but one thing that he forgot to do on his way back was to change the sail of his boat, because before he set off on his journey, his father, the king, told him to change the sail from black to white. If the sail was white, it meant Theseus was victorious. If it was black, it meant that Theseus had died. But in his victory, Theseus forgot about this responsibility. He left the sail on black. So his father, the king, on looking out over the shore for this boat, saw the black sail, assumed Theseus had died, and committed suicide as a result. Now, that's a very quick rundown of the story. Go ahead and check it out. There's lots of content out there on Google and on YouTube. And it's a fascinating story, but what has it got to do with you? What does it have to do with your life? What does it have to do with your mind? Well, basically, this story, this myth, this legend is a metaphor. It's symbolic, and all of those characters and all of those things are symbolic of the challenges and obstacles that you're going through in your life right now. What do I mean by that? Well, the Minotaur is symbolic of your fears, your insecurities, your challenges, your obstacles. Theseus is you and the potential hero within you. The maze, the labyrinth, that's the intricate maze of life, or the intricate labyrinth of your mind. And Ariadne represents those people that will help you on your journey, that will help you on your mission. And the sacrificial boys and girls, they are basically the cause and the mission that you need to adopt for yourself. You need that purpose in life, or they are what you will become if you succumb to the Minotaur, if you run from the Minotaur, and if you are devoured by your personal Minotaurs. And of course, the sword and the string, those are your skills, talents, and the strategies you will use to fulfill your mission. And finally, Theseus's father is symbolic of those people that will hold you back in life, that will tell you not to take risks, that will tell you not to do anything, as well as representing your responsibilities before, during, and after victory. So let's look at these concepts in a little bit more detail. So let's start off with the maze and the labyrinth. So there's two types. There's the internal maze and there's the external maze. The internal is basically your mind, your consciousness, your soul, and the external is the material world that we all find ourselves living in. Now, both of these, whether it's internal or external, whether it's the mind or whether it's life, there is no straight path. There is no, one way to go. It's an intricate maze. It's an intricate labyrinth. There's lots of ups. There's lots of downs. There's lots of turns. There's lots of obstacles, and it's never a straight path. So the first point basically is that you need to navigate through this intricate maze of life, and you need to navigate through the intricate maze that is your mind. And in both of these things, in life and in your mind, you are going to come across your own personal Minotaur or your own personal Minotaurs, because there's going to be many obstacles, there's going to be many challenges in your life. So in the external world, you'll have obstacles, you'll have challenges. This could be things like difficulty with your relationships, it could be difficulty with finances, whatever the troubles are in the external world. And the Minotaur inside your mind, that's basically your fears, your insecurities, your self-doubts, and all of those issues that you have in your mind. It could be past traumas, because you've had a tough childhood where you've been abused in some kind of way. Obviously there's a lot of different aspects, and there's a lot of fears that people have, and those are what are represented by the Minotaur. So what does that mean? What does that translate to? Well, it means you can either do two things with those fears, with those insecurities, with those challenges, with those obstacles. The first thing you can do is absolutely nothing. You can run from the Minotaur, you can hide, you can try and avoid the Minotaur, which is what the majority of people do today. However, if you wish to be a hero like Theseus, the other option is for you to take on and tackle your personal Minotaur. So what does that mean? That means taking on your fears. That means coming out of your comfort zone. That means, challenging and fighting and confronting the Minotaur. It means having a cause to get behind and doing what you can to basically fulfill and fight for that cause. And basically the thing about Theseus is he took on a cause that was bigger than himself, which was trying to fight for those sacrificial boys and girls. So that was a mission that was bigger than him. There was no need for him to do it. And unfortunately, today we live in an environment where everybody's only trying to make it out for themselves. Now, that might be obviously because of circumstances, but really, everyone's just trying to make money for themselves. They're trying to build a life for themselves, and that's about it. Whereas what you really need in life is a cause that is bigger than you, something that you don't have to do, but something you are compelled to do because you're passionate about that cause. Now, that cause could be absolutely anything that you're passionate about. It could be you want to save the world by doing something about climate change. It could be something where you're passionate about helping cancer patients, or where you want to help children or orphans, or you want to build hospitals, or you want to be an animal rights activist, or you want to help people with mental health issues. And it could be absolutely anything, but it's just got to be a cause that is bigger than yourself. Now, I know a lot of people like to give money to charity, which is a very good thing. That's a noble cause. It's a great thing to do. However, this has got to be something a bit more than that. This is something which requires you to do more than just give money to charity. This is something which requires you to fight, to really test yourself, to really put yourself out there and really get out of your comfort zone. And that's the whole point of having a cause that is bigger than you, which for Theseus was these sacrificial boys and girls. And what does that mean for Theseus? What does that mean for you? Well, it means that you've got to develop yourself. You've got to build yourself. You can't just go out there and fight your mission. Like, you've got to get better, and that's how you become a hero. You've got to practice, you've got to train, you've got to build skills, you've got to build talents. You've got to do what you can to become the best version of yourself, to become the strongest version of yourself, mentally, physically, spiritually, and obviously even financially. So the whole point then is to be not just of service to yourself, but to build those skills and then use them to be of service to other people, and that's how you develop yourself into a Greek hero like Theseus. And you use those skills to take on your own personal Minotaurs, and then the greater Minotaur, which is by being of service to other people. And then the next element in the story is Princess Ariadne. Now, Princess Ariadne is symbolic of those people that will help you on your journey. Now, I know we live in a very lonely world right now. Everybody wants to do things by themselves. They're very lonely. But the fact of the matter is, if you want to achieve something in life, like even if you want to better yourself, you need to get help from other people. Now, that could be family, it could be friends, it could be teachers, it could be coaches, it could be the courses that you take. Like, it has to be something where you receive help from other people, and that's how the world functions. We don't just learn by ourselves. We need other people to help us to learn, and we need other people to help us to build. And without other people, you're going to really struggle to build the life that you want to build yourself, and to obviously tackle the cause and the mission which you wish to tackle. And then the final element is and then you've got the element of the sword and the string, which is linked to that, and that is basically the skills and the strategies that you will use. So you need to stack skills, you need to build yourself, and then obviously you need to have strategies to make your life better, and to tackle your mission, and to tackle your cause. Without the string, without the strategies, you will get lost in the maze of life. You will get lost in the maze of your mind. And without the sword, life is a battle. You are going to have days where you're going to have to go to war, whether it's with yourself or whether it's with some external cause, whether it's in business or personal It doesn't really matter. There will be times where you will need to go to war, so you will need to develop the skill of being able to attack, and you will need the strength, the strategies to go through the maze and the ups and downs of life and the volatility of your mind, especially when you're emotional, especially when the fear kicks in, the self-doubt kicks in. It could even be something like procrastination and boredom. Like, this is what a lot of people are suffering from today. They just can't motivate themselves because they are bored. Now that could be a Minotaur for you to tackle. And then the final element is Theseus's father. So this has two elements to it. The first being that, when you start on your journey, you will have people holding you back. You will have people telling you to not do things. You will have people telling you to not take risks. This is especially true when you start a business or you go on an adventure where there is an element of risk. And just like this was Theseus's father, the people in your life will generally be your family members. It might be your parents, it might be your spouse, but those are the people that will, not out of malice or anything like that, but because they are concerned about the risk you're taking, they don't want you to do it, so they will discourage you on your journey. So the first element is to get past that discouragement, is to get past those people telling you not to do what it is that you want to do. And the other element here is to make sure that you carry on taking care of your responsibilities before, during, and of course after you start your mission, because there's a tendency to go gung-ho at whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's a business or anything else, and then you tend to forget your responsibilities. Well, if you do forget your responsibilities, the consequences could be catastrophic, as they were for Theseus. His responsibility was to change the sail from black to white. He forgot to do that. He forgot to take care of his responsibilities, and as a result, his father committed suicide. So if you don't take care of your responsibilities, whether they're personal, whether they're familial, whether they're financial, in your business, whatever it is, if you don't take care of your responsibilities, you might find that your triumph fast becomes a tragedy. And there you have it in a nutshell. That really is the concept and the philosophy behind the Minotaur's maze. And the guests that I have on here are basically there to help you develop in obviously personal development and self-improvement, but also talking about some of the other things which are not mainstream. Like, obviously I've had people on the podcast talking about businesses and entrepreneurship, because that really, in this day and age, is where a lot of people have their Minotaurs. But there's other aspects, there's other people who've completely different challenges and different obstacles and different mindset issues. Like, for me personally, one of my biggest Minotaurs was the fear of speaking. And how did I tackle that? Well, I made videos, I started the podcast, I went to networking events and things like that. Like, obviously I've already done videos on this on my YouTube channel. If you haven't seen them, check them out. But other Minotaurs could be physical health. Like, it could be you trying to build a better body, a muscular body, or just trying to get healthier. In a business context, it might be that you struggle to delegate. It might be that you're afraid to take risks. It doesn't really matter. Like, every single person has their own individual Minotaurs. They've got their own individual challenges, they've got their own individual obstacles, they've got their own traumas, their own fears, just like you will have. And the whole point is for you to take those fears, those insecurities, those doubts, and those challenges and those obstacles, and really attack them, go after them, overcome them. And that's how you will become a hero in your life. That's how you will become Theseus. Because if you run from those challenges, if you run from those obstacles, if you hide from those insecurities, if you stay in your comfort zone, then you'll never become a hero, and most likely you will become one of those sacrificial boys and girls, those bystanders in life, those who let life pass by without doing anything. And then when it comes to moving on, when death approaches, those are the people that are filled with regret that they didn't take on their Minotaurs, regret that they hid from their Minotaurs, regret that they didn't take life by the horns and attack and really do those things that they really wanted to do. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button. Let me know how you feel about this philosophy. Do you have any questions, any comments? Let me know. And just let me know, what are some of the Minotaurs in your life, and what are some of the challenges and obstacles and fears that you are currently dealing with and trying to tackle. Until the next episode, take care. Bye bye.